Since July of this summer, I've been training for the Kobe Marathon, attempting for a new personal best against some of the best runners in Japan. Last week, I headed down to Kansai to put my training to the test and see if I could compete against all the other Jitsugodan runners. Okay, so as promised, I'm making a recap video on the Kobe Marathon that I raced last week. There's a lot to talk about, and I just want to go through the race and how it went. So right from the beginning, I ran into a lot of issues. First being, as you can see from the start line, I am nowhere to be found. And the reason for this is because I actually didn't get into the elite field. There were semi-pros and professionals, and I didn't get in because my seed time was a 2:18:13. I guess that's not fast enough. I was in the S block, and I also ran into more issues because I was in the S block. So part of, a lot of marathons in Japan, they take one bag when you show up to the race. They'll keep it for you to the end and then give it back to you. Now I had a suitcase and a backpack, and they would only take one bag when I showed up to the the truck where they take all your bags in the morning. They initially told me to go to the train station and just put my bag into a locker, but obviously, this is 15 minutes before the race was starting, and I'm like, I have no time. Like, what am I supposed to do? Finally, they fortunately had someone help me out, and they took my bag and put it in the city hall to the end. But I mean, they would not help me for like 15 minutes. They wouldn't take my bag, so I had to wait there till someone would come help me. And because of that, I got to the S block very late. And as you can see with all these people here, I mean, there's so many people that there was no way for me to push my way to the front. I tried with the Tokyo half. I was able to get a little bit closer to the front. But this one, I mean, I was in the back of the S block. So there was no way for me to get forward because I got in right before they closed the gate. So that was extremely frustrating. So at this moment in time, I'm stressing big time. I'm like, am I going to be able to even catch up to the pros? There was a lot going through my mind at this time. So, but yeah, as you can see, there's just so many people. So among the pro field, the top athletes, as you can see here, there's a 204 guy. His name's Rotich. He's from Kenya, won Paris a few years ago. And the other guy, Alemu, he's from Ethiopia, 206 guy from last year. They're pretty stacked field, assuming that, that's their current level of fitness. I don't think it was, and then top Japanese guys, there's obviously a bunch of 209 guys, 210. In Japan, running 209 is really not that special, to be honest. So, but the one thing that's really tricky about like these rankings is you really never know when they ran these times. Maybe they ran it like 5 years, or not 5, but like maybe like 3 years ago. So they might not be that fast at all. So like, it's really hard to gauge in the beginning of the race. There's also 4 pacers in the race, and the pacers were instructed to go out in 2:08 pace, so a 64 half, and they were supposed to stay in the race for 30K. From my last experience running in the Nagano Marathon, it went pretty poorly just because I decided to run my own race because I thought it was going to be too fast. And I ended up being in no man's land the whole race and suffered as a result. So this time I decided, even if the pace is going out blazing, I'm going to do my best to stick with them and just see how I feel. But with the current situation being in the S block, I'm like, well, geez, now not only I have to run a first hard half, I have to run a first hard mile. Like, absolutely ridiculous. So the governor of Hyogo shot the gun and we were off. Yeah, so pretty hard start. I ran to the right side of the road just so I could kind of sneak by people, and it's kind of bad, but I was just trying to get people out of the way because I was starting behind people who were like 3-hour marathon pace. So, but as we got to Motomachi, you can already see I'm kind of in the chase pack right here. So I'm already, pushing really hard for the first 800. And at this point, the gap started to there was already a big gap, so I just decided I have to go with the front group or I'm never going to catch them. because they're gonna keep pushing for the rest of the race. So I just caught on to that lead pack, and at this point, I went through the K at roughly like 250, so pretty quick. But yeah, I'm with the pack, so now that I'm with them, I can kind of just chill and sit behind and kind of get adjusted to the actually slower pace. But as you look at 3K in, we're already dropping a lot of people. So you got to remember, 4 of the people in the front, they're pacers. So the people who are in contention to win at this point are already pretty small, the group. So but yeah, I'm just doing just trying to sit behind, tuck in, and kind of let everyone else do the work. Yeah, so we came through the 5K at 15:11. So for me, it's more closer to like 15 flat, to be honest. Which, to be honest, surprisingly felt very comfortable. At this point, I'm feeling very good, and I'm glad that I'm with the chase pack, so I'm just kind of letting the pacers do all the work. But yeah, it was kind of interesting to just keep looking at the splits and like say, oh dang, we're going pretty quick. So, but yeah, at this point, I'm actually feeling pretty comfortable at roughly 7-8K in. So at this point, I'm just trying to focus on. You just see I missed the drinks, but yeah, I'm just trying to get as much like water and liquids in, because it wasn't exactly like a cold day at all. It started at roughly 60 degrees and got up to like I think 65 maybe degrees Fahrenheit. So not exactly like cool, but not too hot. There was no humidity, fortunately, so that felt nice.
一般男子のイーサン・ライト・シェリー選手も、シュリー選手ですね、イーサン・ライト・シュリー選手もこの先頭グループに入っているということですね。
そうですね、すごくチャレンジされてますね。
So we came through roughly the 10K mark at 30:10. So for me, closer to 30. And once again, it didn't feel too bad, because that portion of the race, there's a lot of like rolling hills. But the downhills felt really nice, so it didn't really ever feel that tough, to be honest. But yeah, just trying to focus on getting liquids in. I had roughly 6 gels that I took with me on this race, and I wrote with pen just on my wrist, or not my wrist, my forearm, like each spot to take liquids, so I constantly check my watch to see when I need to take my gels. So that was pretty much the only thing I was monitoring and that I was thinking about really at this time, because I didn't really have to do any work. I just had to sit behind everyone and let them do it for me. So.
あとは一般参加のイーサン・ライト・シュリー選手、この先頭集団に間もなく19キロという地点でも残ってるんですよね。はい、
本当にどれぐらいどんな練習してきたのかなっていうふうに、すごく興味津々で見ています。
はい、黒いランニングウェアの選手です。
So we're getting close to the half marathon mark, and this is kind of when the announcers noticed that I'm still with the pack. I think at the beginning they thought I was just trying to just go out and see what would happen, but in reality, my seed time wasn't reflective of my actual ability, unfortunately, so just got screwed pretty much. But yeah, they start to notice that I'm still hanging on with the rest of the group.
ですからこの一般参加のイーサン・ライト・シュリー選手が粘ってるんですよ。
はい、すごいですね。
ですよね。
はい。
So we go through the half marathon split in 103:38. So for me, pretty much 103:30, which is not exactly 208 pace. That's 207 pace. And to be honest, I felt extremely good. At this point in the race, I'm feeling very good. My breathing is fine. Legs actually feel decent, which was very bizarre because, that was only 30 seconds slower than my PR in the half marathon. And I think part of that is because my half marathon PR was on a very hot day. So, and I also went out very hard and died in that race as well. But yeah, I kind of wish that the pacers went out a little bit slower, more conservative, because 207 pace, or I guess slightly over, is a bit quick, and I don't think anyone was ready to do that on this day. So I think it would have been to my advantage had we not gone out so hard, especially considering the beginning of my race. So, but yeah, at this point, it's really just me and two others, Rotic and Alemu. And you can see all the other, all the pros have already dropped off. There was I think the top Japanese guy, his name is Kumahashi. He gets mentioned a lot towards the end of the race. But so at this point in the race, at the 27 to 28 mark, K mark, this is where my legs start to cramp extremely bad. You can see here I'm kind of like jumping around, and this is not because anyone clipped me or anything. It's just I could feel it felt like my legs were or my muscles were just tearing. Or like something was like falling out of my shorts. It was a very bizarre feeling. It's really tough to describe, but it happened particularly in my calves and my groin, just right, and then a little bit in my quads. But it just kind of happened like all of a sudden, and there wasn't really much I could do. So at this point, I try to take the liquids get as much as I can, because that helped a little bit, but I start to lose the top group just because I can't hang on at this pace. I think we hit a lot of like 4:46 miles for like 48 miles, which is faster than 2:08 pace. But I was suffering pretty bad. You can even see here I'm jumping again, just the cramping is catching up to me. And at this point, I'm kind of wondering, am I even going to be able to finish the race? Because we still have, 14K left. And at this rate, I'm feeling pretty terrible. So, but yeah, once again, I just focused on my watch. I figured out, like, if I go roughly from, like, if I go a little bit over 5-minute pace, my cramping wasn't as bad. So I just kind of sat around 5:10 pace for a little bit. At this point, the top guy, Rotic, he overtakes Alemu, and Alemu starts to die really hard. And Rotic, he also starts to die a bit too, but he's able to kind of hold the lead right here after passing Alemu. And here for me, I also start to overtake Alemu for second.
なんとなく元気そうに見えますね。
いやこれ画面で見ていましてもアレムの足取りはかなり鈍ってきた感じがします。
そうなんですよね。画面。
So I take second, and at this point I'm feeling like there's maybe even a chance for me to take first. Until about roughly this moment. So once we hit the 35K mark, not only my legs are in serious pain, but then my breathing starts to catch up with me a little bit. Because up until then I had felt pretty good aerobically, hadn't had any issues. But it's roughly, this point in the race that I'm suffering pretty bad. And now at this point, I'm really just trying to finish the race. I don't really care about time. I just need to finish. And I'm trying to, watch, pay attention to my watch, just run as fast as I can, which at this point is basically like 5:20s. I think I had even like a 5:30 last mile. So, but yeah, Rotic, he's able to hold me off for the end of the race, and he runs over 2:10, so like a 2:11:02 or 2:11:01. So. And then, I come in at 2:11:30 officially. Now with the net time, it's obviously like 7 seconds faster. So really it's like 2:11:23, and who knows what would have happened, if I didn't have to start so far back. But then you have Kumahashi, he comes in third. So he was closing on me pretty hard, but ran out of space. So unfortunately, there was no interview for me. So they interviewed Rotic. But yeah, this is pretty much it. And now I'm now preparing for my next race, my next big race, which is the Osaka Marathon. So hopefully in that race, you know, I can start with the elites now that I have a good seed time. Considering the race is in February, so should have perfect weather, or at least better weather, and that the course is very flat, I should have a decent PR for my next race. But yeah, that's it for me, and stay tuned for more videos in my next build.